life isn't coming at you, life comes from you. I'm not teaching you manifestation, I'm not teaching you witchcraft. Yeah, there might be a lot of things that might go wrong, but one thing can actually go right, and that one thing that can go right is bigger than every other thing that could. Happy New Year's, everyone. Now, I know there have been several memes flying around about how nobody has been saying that 2024 is going to be their year, 2024 is going to be their year. I mean, 2023 was something. It was definitely something, but like this is a fresh year, so let's try to be optimistic about it. A lot of you are going into this year with a plan. I'm going into this year with prayer.
Lord, I thank you. I thank you for the joy that is coming my way.
Because I don't think planning is working for me anymore, because I will plan how this like a specific year is going to like go, and then life just happens. Like how? Anyways, chair makes me feel so small. Like what's even going on? In 2023, I wrote myself a letter and looking through it, I fear I may be becoming a white woman. A white woman or not, it is very good to write. It's very good to journal, and that is why I am here to teach you. So black, orange, or yellow, I feel like it is very important to be able to express yourself. I feel like here in this continent, it's like we deprive ourselves from being able to express ourselves properly, and it's really, I find it quite absurd, really, because if you're feeling some type of way, like why are you chesting so much? Like you get me. I feel like it's important to be able to express yourself and rid yourself of all like the toxic negativity that you're carrying. Toxic negativity. Okay, well done. Anyways, so I feel like it is very important to be able to express yourself. Me personally, anytime I'm going into like a new year, anything, something like major happens to me, I'm someone that is always going to like put it down on paper because I like documenting stuff. I like documenting whatever is going on around me. I just like having it like in a specific place, and I decided, okay, why don't I share that with all of you? So today we're going to be talking about journaling. I'm basically just resetting for the entire year because I feel like I have been in or like pilot. What was that thing called? When you're not the one controlling something, hands-free mode, something like that. Autopilot, yes. I feel like unconsciously I do that, and this time I don't want to do that because sometimes I forget. Like there's this thing that Timothy Chalamet said. He was like, "Life isn't coming at you; life comes from you," and it made me realize that wow, like a lot of things, like unconsciously, I feel like every person, if you say something, it comes to pass. I'm not teaching you manifestation. I'm not teaching you witchcraft. Basically trying to say is that when you say something, it comes to pass, be it good or bad. You're going to see it in your life. And to some extent, I realized that unconsciously, like I would say certain stuff, like not necessarily negative, but I would say stuff and then it would come to pass. And I'd be like, oh, I have to be more careful with the way I talk and all of that. So I've been trying to correct myself and all of. Basically have 3 books I used to journal. Let me get them. Like I said, I have 3 books I use to journal. One is for actual journaling. The other is for spiritual journaling. And this is just for documenting ideas and for my schedules and everything because I'm someone that likes having things planned out and all of that. For me, like the way I journal, I actually got inspired by Tomiwa Radia. She's also a YouTuber that I admire a lot. She taught me this thing where you split your goals into different sections. So we have spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical goals. And ever since then, like, yes, this is one I was working on. Yeah. So it looks like this. Anyways, so I have, aside from mental goals, emotional goals, spiritual goals, and physical goals. And when I saw how she did, like when she split this up, I felt like it was much more easier to like be able to like keep up with the like things I have planned. Mental goals are goals that are set in order to improve the well-being of one's mental health or mental state. And you get what I'm trying to say. So if you're struggling with anxiety, you're going to set goals that help you improve yourself and improve and increase your self-esteem. If you're struggling with depression, you seek professional help, obviously, but you also set out goals on your own that help move you out of that state. If you're struggling with anything, it basically has to do with setting out Like you set out goals that help to like improve like your mental well-being. Like genuinely not even be something so serious, but maybe perhaps you are in the university. What I was trying to say was perhaps maybe it's the way you think. Like, oh, you could be a very negative person, your mind is very negative, very toxic, and you make a mental note to yourself and you say, I'm going to be more positive. I'm going to learn to be more optimistic. There are a lot of things, yeah, there might be a lot of things that might go wrong, but one thing can actually go right. And that one thing that can go right is bigger than every other thing that could go wrong. Now, on to spiritual goals. Now, the thing about God is that once you get closer to Him, you start wanting more and more from Him because you just realize that being in His presence is so amazing. So, like, why would you ever want to step out of it? Anyways, so I feel like I experienced a shift in my spiritual life when I started school, which I found really weird because I was like, oh, because I was in a new environment. So I was like, oh, I expected myself to like be all over the place and everything. But it was like in those moments that I became closer to God. I think I realized how much I needed Him even more. So from then on, I decided to make sure I document how far I am getting with him. So for like, I think the first thing I wrote down was to use my mornings to spend more time with God because I would say like, oh, okay, I will spend this amount of time with God in the morning, but then I'd end up picking my phone up and I didn't like that because even like on a normal day, if I'm not doing anything, like if I'm not praying, if I'm not reading my Bible, I am not going to pick up my phone so early. I don't know, it gives me a headache, so I just don't do it. So I usually wait for specific hours, but then I started to get really idle and I decided, okay, why don't I fill up that space with something that is actually sensible, you get me. And another thing I put down was consistency. I struggled with consistency and commitment a lot when it came to like spending time with God. And then sometimes you will talk to God about something and you want him to change some things in your life, but then you realize that the change is actually starting from you. So like you have to be that one to change first before like things around you start to change. So I started walking. Not I just because I couldn't do it myself. I had to go to God and be like, oh, I can't do this by myself. I need your help right now. And I realized how important it was to give my mornings to Him. And being more grateful. Being more grateful is actually very important because sometimes you forget that you're living in an answered prayer. So it's important to always be thankful. On to emotional goals. Emotional goals are goals that you set up in order to balance and manage the well-being of your emotional states. Me personally, there's one thing I realize is how fickle emotions are. It's like you could be feeling a certain type of way and then you think like that emotion defines you, but then it actually doesn't. You feel like it defines that specific moment, but the truth is it does not. It does not in anyway. So one thing I started doing is like, okay, why do I feel this way? What's triggering this? Because sometimes you can be feeling some type of way, but then if you actually like calm down and sit down, you realize that, oh, I feel this way because of this. I feel this way because of this. And before like it's gone. It's gone. In the area of emotions, I feel like this is where spirituality comes to play in because you need an outlet. That's something I always say. You need an outlet, be it writing, be it talking to God and everything. If you feel upset about something and talking to a friend is not working out, writing is not working, please talk to God about it because it actually works. And it's like when you pray to God about it, you realize like once when you hear like what you're saying, you realize that wow, this isn't actually a problem. And another thing is your problems are not yours to hold. Like just give it to God. Like He will take care of everything, genuinely speaking. Okay, so now on to physical goals. So physical goals have to do with, like I said, goals that you set up in order to improve your physical appearance, your physical state, and like if you feel like you don't, if you feel like you don't like the way you look, and you feel like you want to wait, I don't like how this is sound, this is coming off as really weird. I'm not encouraging you to do anything to yourself. I'm not encouraging you to do anything to, so please do not take this out, do not misinterpret what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is you should do things that improve your physical well-being, not necessarily alter the way you are. You should just do things that improve you, be eating well, sleeping well, drinking water, taking care of your skin, all of that. So those are like physical goals and everything. Okay, so yeah, this is what this book is for. That we have this book. If I'm not writing poetry or writing about my emotions and all of that, I'm mostly in that book. This book is for ideas and for my schedules. I schedule a lot of stuff because I like having a plan. I like ensuring that everything is in place. So I also make sure I document this. Like in the area of ideas, like if I have an idea for a certain video I want to film, I'll put it down. If I have an idea for like a reel, or if I want to take a specific picture, wait, not pictures, oh, that's crazy. So I usually just pen everything down inside this book. Okay, so these are what these three books are for, and I hope this video was helpful. We have come to the end of this video, and I hope each and every single one of you learned something from it. I hope each and every single one of you took one or two things out of this video. I feel like I should be doing talking videos more often because I actually enjoy talking a lot. I love talking to you guys and starting conversations on certain topics. I love to hear from you guys, so don't forget to leave a comment on what topics that you would like me to discuss in my next video. So right now I'm working on my resolutions for the year 2 as well, and I hope you all work on yours. Love you all. Mwah.